Welcome to Ancient Greece, Lesson 3, Tyranny in the City-States and Sparta. Small farmers in ancient Greece often needed money to live until they could harvest and sell their crops. They borrowed this money from the nobles. If the farmers could not pay their debts on time, the nobles took their land. Many farmers lost their land. They had to work directly for the nobles or become city laborers. Desperate farmers sometimes sold themselves into slavery. By 650 BC, small farmers joined merchants and artisans in demanding change. Merchants and artisans had become wealthy through trade, but they did not own land, therefore they could not become citizens. They had no voice in running the polis. This unrest led to the rise of tyrants. A tyrant is someone who takes power by force and rules with total authority. Today, we think of tyrants as being harsh. Early Greek tyrants were wise and fair. They built new marketplaces, temples, and walls. Still, most Greeks wanted to be citizens. By 500 BC, most city-states had replaced the tyrants. Two new types of government arose. The first was oligarchy, in which a few people hold power. The second was democracy, which is run by the citizens. Sparta had an oligarchy. Athens had a democracy. They were both powerful Greek city-states. So that's all for... Oh, wait, there's more?
This is Sparta!
Okay, let's talk about Sparta. Like other city-states, Sparta needed more land as it grew. Unlike other city-states, Sparta did not set up colonies. Instead, Spartans conquered and enslaved their neighbors. They called their slaves helots. Spartans worried that the helots might rebel, so the government set up strict military training. At age 7, boys went to live in army barracks. They were toughened with harsh treatment. At age 20, Spartan men entered the army and stayed for 10 years. Only then could they return home. But they stayed in the army until age 60. All were expected to win or die on the battlefield. Girls kept fit by running, wrestling, and throwing long, thin spears called javelins. Wives stayed home while their husbands lived in the barracks. As a result, Spartan women were freer than other Greek women. They could own property and go where they pleased. Under the Spartan oligarchy, 2 kings headed a council of elders. The council's function was to present laws to an assembly. It included 28 citizens over age 60. All Spartan men over age 30 belonged to an assembly. They voted on council law. They also chose 5 people to be ephors. An ephor enforced laws and managed tax collection. The government adopted several policies to keep people from questioning their system, including limiting foreign visitors, banning travel abroad, discouraging the study of literature and arts. The Spartans successfully controlled the helots for almost 250 years, but their focus on the military came at a price. They fell behind other Greeks in trade. Their knowledge of science and other subjects was poor. Still, their soldiers would play a key role in defending Greece. When we think about the movie 300, which is obviously where this is Sparta comes from. That's part of the Persian War, which we'll get into a little bit more later, but the Spartans played an important role in fighting off the Persians, and then Sparta and Athens would go to war later on in a war called the Peloponnesian War. So just to review, early Greeks were ruled by tyrants who were leaders with complete power. Later, this gave way to 2 new types of government, democracy and oligarchy. Sparta enslaved people and called them helots. This was their way of expanding their city-state instead of having colonies all over the place. Sparta had an oligarchy type of government, and they had a major focus on fighting. They had a very strong military, but this came instead of building up the arts and the sciences as Athens did. So that's all for now. Thanks for watching.